Hey, we're back for another historical football video game video. I need to come up with a name for this series. Last time we did Madden 94, and at that same time there was Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super Nintendo, so we got that here. Now, Tecmo Super Bowl for the original Nintendo, my favorite game of all time, my favorite football video game of all time. So I'll make a video of that sometime. I didn't want to start with it. But the Super Nintendo, I remember it having some glitches a little bit. It's a little bit polished in the look. I like this intro. When I think of retro sports video games, I don't really think of the Madden so much. I think of Tecmo Super Bowl. We talk about Madden, how it was 11 on 11, but so was Tecmo Super Bowl. And it offered some things. Little more arcade type action, I guess. But as far as for the game, it did some things really well too, I think. So let's look at it. Preseason, season games, you could do a Pro Bowl, you could look at your teams and change the playbooks. I'm just gonna do a little man versus computer. You can see this is back when they just had East, West, and Central divisions. So I'm going to go with the old AFC Central and Houston Oilers. I just like the logo. I like the throwback. Warren Moon was awesome. We'll have them go against Pittsburgh. You can change your weather situations here. This is something you couldn't do on the Nintendo version. Just a little practice game. So they say preseason on there. This had the roster for the 1993 season and the schedule, which is pretty cool. You just play one season. All right. Where Madden has the little animations in the presentation, this has some cool cutscenes, I guess, that kind of add to it. I'm a big fan of this here. Big fan of this screen from the view from the side, like the broadcast view. So we'll notice right away, you're not picking a defense, you're picking the player's offense. Trying to guess it. If you guess their offense, then all your players jump the routes and you probably get a sack, or you get a turnover, a forced fumble with a scoop and score, something like that. So that's one thing I don't like. I wish they had at least the basics, like have the defense that would at least work best for those plays available. So maybe there's like just a straight up man. Maybe there's a cover 3. Maybe there's a cover 4. Maybe there's cover 2, whatnot. And then have those be based on it. But I mean, this works too. So ultimately, as I'm playing this defense here, and I'm kind of struggling here early on. I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, but if you look on their screen, they got that pass play where 2 guys outside run deep. I'm just going to choose that play, and they're not selecting it here because it's out of the shotgun, but if I run that play, in theory, if they try to play deep, at least I have any of those other plays where a wide receiver goes deep, I have somebody at that deepest threat. That's kind of my strategy I'm going with here. So you can kind of, in a way, pick a defense. You're doing it based off of what their team is. Madden, you have the 4-3 and the dime and the nickel. Everyone in Tecmo Super Bowl land and the Tecmo-verse, everyone plays a 3-4, which, sometimes you get some players playing in different positions that way. So that's a little thing I don't like. But as far as the gameplay for it, much easier to control than Madden, which came out at the same time. I like the grass textures a little bit better. The end zone art's a little old there, but it's got the logos in there. Another thing I really like much better about this, you can see who's getting the ball or who's supposed to get the ball on those runs. Because it's on the play art. There we go. That's called lurching. I shouldn't have done that. And it's just kind of a habit. It's kind of a glitch of the game if you're the nose tackle and you move to the side and dive. And I don't know why I did it. I shouldn't have. It's bad. It's bad manners. Bad Tecmo etiquette. Okay. Ooh, almost got it. So there's a little cutscene there. I like that. It adds a little bit more action, breaks up the gameplay, makes it more fun. And yeah, I'm a fan of this game. It looks good. It's a polished look of the Nintendo version. Sometimes the players do some goofy things, but I know where the routes are going to be. It's way easier to run and pass on this game than on that Madden game, for sure. And you can see blocks open up a little bit easier. You kind of get a concept from the Nintendo game of this. You get a concept of following your block, going where the play's designed to be. You know, things like that. Even though it's arcade action, I think it's balanced real nice. You know, and this game's a must. I would probably give this Super Nintendo version probably a 3. If I gave Madden 94, which would have been around that same era, that same year, if I give that a 2, I would give this a 3. I'm trying not to give like 2.5s or decimals, you know, but it just a hair better, you know, just a little bit better feel. You get to see the crowd on the outside. There is only 8 plays to choose. Trying to be balanced on this. But how many plays does a typical person select on Madden nowadays, like in 2022? I would be curious. Is there people running 8 plays? I don't play it as much as I used to. I would imagine there's probably 8 plays that I would use more than the most. You know, I mean, I would say I run more than 8 plays, but I'll bet there was probably not many more than 8 that I used a lot. You know, touchdown Lorenzo White, Warren Moon. A few younger people out there, if you're not familiar with this Oilers offense, you know, the old run and shoot or the fun and gun, whatever you want to call it, it was awesome to watch back in the day. They were, I mean, in the early 90s, I always think of the Oilers offense. I always think of the Bills offense, obviously. Think of the Dolphins. I don't know, just because of Dan Marino and stuff. Maybe that. I don't know. Probably not quite as cool to me as the Oilers. I don't know. I just have always liked the Oilers' old school offense. And then obviously the Oilers moved to Tennessee and became the Titans. But back in the day, the Oilers had some crazy things going on with the coaching staff when Buddy Ryan was there. And just, Google that up, YouTube it, check out the story behind these Oilers teams. And back when there was more characters, I guess, in the NFL. More personality. But that offense did some pretty cool things. Wide open. How do you let him go? How do you let him get right past him like that? Wow. And don't get me wrong. I tend to try to get out of bounds right at the end whenever possible, because you'll fumble sometimes. Show the running back some love. Touchdown. I mean, you gotta last So yeah, it's easier to score against the computer right now. Things look pretty easy. When you play the season mode on Tecmo Super Bowl, there's no difficulty level based on how successful you are. Every so many games, the difficulty will ratchet up a little bit. So your season will get progressively harder the better you are, you know. Sometimes it downright cheats on you. You know, there will be times where they'll pick your play multiple times in a row and gets a little frustrating. But then you just learn how to get the ball out fast. You know, it's still winnable. It's just one of those things, you know. It's anything can happen, you know. Anything can happen. That's why they play the game. Awesome sack animation. Madden has some of those fist bump moments, you know, on the Madden 94 in the last video, pumping the fist or banging the helmets together, but it's real subtle. It's in the background. You don't really notice it. So I think these cutscenes make it a little bit more exciting to watch. It feels more like you're watching a game on television, you know, than that. Ooh, we got it blocked. Another cutscene. And then they just end it right there. Wasn't sure if they'd call it dead there, or if they would let him advance it, because on the Nintendo version you could advance it. Another difference between this and Nintendo version, the play clock is a little bit slower, I noticed. Nintendo, the time goes a lot faster. This one here, I'm not sure how we're going on pace. Probably similar, maybe a little faster than Madden still, but I don't know. But I could have run out the clock on Madden a lot faster. This one you don't really have the option. Like sometimes that clock just stops. That's a good thing. I like. Oh, fun game. Highly recommend it. I don't know if it's still popular. For a real little bit of time, there was a game called Retro Bowl. There still is. It's on mobile devices. It's on Switch. Maybe I'll do a demo of this for Switch. And you can see, like, they really get their inspiration from Tecmo Super Bowl. And it's fun to play. But it's not anywhere as fun as Tecmo Super Bowl. It's a better game, far superior. But I do recommend. I'll make a video for Legend Bowl one of these days. It's a good idea. I kind of forgot about it until now. Or Retro Bowl. There's another game called Legend Bowl, which is pixel art, and it's more of the Madden view, like from behind the quarterback and behind the linebacker. And give that Legend Bowl game a look if you have not. It's on Steam. It's coming to consoles. It's great. Got a little halftime shows here. Not a great clown. Got our stats, and like I said, I like that they got the names of the players here, so I'm not trying to remember, who's number what from Madden. You know, and here in Tecmo Super Bowl, we got their actual names in there. I think that's cool. And, you know, when I'm on defense and I'm cycling through the players, I'm able to see who's who and everything. As I'm moving the player, even though it's not convenient to look at. When I tossed it to white there, you could see at the top, like there it says moon in the upper left hand corner. You know, and now it says given. So you have an idea of where the players are Whereas on Madden, sometimes it's like, oh, I thought that guy would be lined up on this side. Why is he lined up on the other side? So little high-low concept. We'll just should have gone high. Madden, you got the 3 buttons that you can switch to. In Tecmo, you can cycle through all of them. It's more like you're going through your progressions. You push the button to move to the next wide receiver, push the button to move to the next wide receiver until you find your person, and then you push the button for a pass. So you can cycle with your A and B, or cycle with A and pass with B. So I do like that a little bit more. There's no turbo on this game. That's kind of simplified.
First down.
A lot to like about this game for sure. And I'm not trying to set any any scoring records here. I'm trying to actually make it so you don't have to watch this game forever. I just want to play these games, give my thoughts on them, see how they hold up, and kind of give a little mini review of them and show them these games. Tecmo Super Bowl again. You can buy this for Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. I think the Sega Genesis version is better from what I've heard. I was a Super Nintendo player growing up, so I had to roll with it on the Super NES. And then yeah, just enjoy this game. There's I think for like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, there's a Tecmo Super Bowl where you can play this version, but it doesn't have the names and stuff because it came, after collective bargaining and player association and all that. So the teams and the names are different, but it's still the same. It's still the same. They're just named differently. And then there's an updated view, but you can switch to the old school view to this view in game while it's going on, and it still plays the exact same. So that's kind of a cool. I think it's called Tecmo Super Bowl Throwback. But yeah, it's a good game. You can buy it. Any of those used game sales places, it's not rare. I think it's a staple probably if you're a sports game fan or a retro game collector, a sports retro game collector. It's one you probably have a couple copies of. I think I only have one copy of this one cartridge. I don't think I have any others. But fun to play. Great party game. If you're having a football party or a draft party, maybe you got a couple TVs with Tecmo Super Bowl on it and have a little tournament going on the side.
Red 24.
Oh, I overran that. Had him in my sights, and the player got just a bit of a burst of speed there and burned past him. Over pursued.
Round 52. Round 52.
Over this deep guy here. Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Players are tired. Steelers showing some signs of life, but it might be a little too late. Special teams. We'll get to the ball. So, up by 17. They're going for the onside. It's bouncing around. Got it. It would be awesome. would a house called that? Been awesome.
Round 52.
Alright, Warren Moon, we'll just toss it out here. Use some clock. Run it.
Blue 48. Put.
Tried a little draw there. Did not work.
Blue 48. Put.
So yeah, if you're ever playing this game, I would definitely recommend playing it with friends or playing it in season mode, because it is a little bit. I'm keeping this closer than what it needs to be. Just normally against the computer on preseason mode, you're trying to see how many, if you can score 100 points or whatever, you know, in the time. Game holds up. It's a great way for people to learn NFL history, learn about past players on teams. You get a look at the retro logos. You know, you don't really get to see much with the uniforms, but some teams have changed their colors. You got the Buccaneers who now have like the red and gray or whatever, the pewter, whatever they call it. Back in the day, they had the creamsicles. The Patriots back in the day used to have like normal red, white, and blue colors. Now it's more of the darker themed of those colors. The Eagles don't have the Kelly green. They have their midnight green. The Broncos don't have their orange and their light blue helmets. The Chargers, same thing. Back in the day, the Chargers had those. Well, when I was a kid, the Chargers had those dark blue helmets with yellow lightning bolts. And then sometimes they'd wear the throwbacks with the white and the light blue. And then everybody thought those were cool. And then they made it a part of the uniforms. And I was the biggest supporter of the throwback Charger uniforms. I thought they should never get away with them. But now I get kind of nostalgic for how it was when I was a kid. And I want them to wear the yellow pants with the dark blue jerseys and the dark blue helmets. I wish they'd do that. But maybe they will now with the new NFL extra helmet rule that teams can do. Maybe they'll start doing that. But yeah, seeing how a lot of these teams change their uniforms and see what historic players were on the teams and learning which players are better. You got good old Bo Jackson in Tecmo Super Bowl on the Nintendo. Bo Jackson. Most of your friends aren't going to let you play versus them, you know, in that situation. And I won't talk too much more about the Nintendo version, but because again, that'll be its own episode. Let's fly it out. Yeah, Warren Moon in this offense. What a lot of the spread concepts teams do nowadays, you know, was revolutionary in those days with what the Oilers were doing. Like these route combinations. They got the little trade routes. They got the kind of the sail routes. They got these high-low, this easy reads. It's cool. Hey, there it is.
First down.
Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super Nintendo. Not Super Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Super Bowl. It got the little rundown there. You can see the stats. Pretty cool. Give it a try. Play this game. It's a lot of fun. and appreciate you watching. And we'll catch you on our next video, whether it be a tutorial or a football history video game rundown.